The movie begins at a lively college party where we're introduced to our main characters, Cassidy, Jessica, Claire, Ellie, and Chugs. These young women are not biological sisters, but are bonded as members of the Theta Pi sorority, a college club designed to cultivate sisterly closeness and companionship. Together they raise a toast to their sorority house and to their bond of sisterhood. Soon after, they discover a live feed of the other sorority sister Megan, who's in a nearby room with her boyfriend Garrett. As Garrett makes his move, Megan unexpectedly starts throwing up foam from her mouth. The sight of Megan in such a state alarms the girls, and they rush to her aid. Garrett panics and fumbles around in a desperate attempt to save Megan, fearing he might lose his girlfriend. However, once Garrett exits the room, Megan springs to life and starts kissing Jessica, who is trying to help her breathe. The girls are left stunned by this sudden turn of events, to which Megan confesses she was playing a prank. She reveals she had caught Garrett cheating on her, so she orchestrated this prank as a form of revenge. The prank continues and kicks up a notch as they drive what they now declare as Megan's lifeless body to a lake close to a mining site, intending to get rid of it. All the while, Garrett teeters on the brink of madness, which only goes to show how well their prank is working. Once they park by the lake, they drag Megan's seemingly lifeless body from the car. This sight horrifies Garrett, who, filled with terror, dashes to one side and begins to throw up. Meanwhile, Jessica keeps the prank going as she pretends to ponder, trying to decide if they should throw Megan's body into the lake or cut it up into bits. Ellie joins in, hinting that if Megan's lungs are still full of air, her body might not sink, adding more terror to the prank they're playing on Garrett. With a hint of dark humor, Jessica then tells everyone to look for sharp rocks to deflate Megan's lungs, making sure she won't float if they decide to throw her into the lake. All this time, Megan's capturing this carefully planned prank on her phone, recording every spine-chilling second. In an unfortunate twist, Garrett, in a misguided attempt to deflate Megan's lungs, stabs her in the chest with a tire iron. Shock and terror fill in the air as Megan begins to die, this time for real. Amidst the chaos, Megan draws her final breath. Jessica, eager to protect their futures, persuades the girls to cover up the tragic accident. Cassidy, however, disagrees and ventures off to find a cell signal so she can alert the police. While she's away, the others wrap Megan's body in Cassidy's jacket and throw it down a nearby mine shaft. Upon Cassidy's return, she finds herself blackmailed into silence. The girls have set her up, implying she murdered Megan and wrapped the body in her own jacket. Their manipulative tactic works and Cassidy remains silent. The tire iron, the weapon that accidentally ended Megan's life, is thrown into the mine pit, eradicating any remaining evidence of the terrible incident. The story then jumps forward 8 months. The girls have graduated from college, but the bonds of their sisterhood have been strained. Cassidy distances herself from her former sorority sisters, still upset about their use of her jacket to force her into complicity. Before the celebratory party at the Theta Pi house, Cassidy spends time with her boyfriend Andy. Deeply in love with her, he senses the tension between Cassidy and her former friends, but she refuses to discuss it, attempting to keep their dark secret hidden. At the sorority house, a young woman who bears a striking resemblance to Megan walks in. Ellie screams in fright, only to realize that the newcomer is Maggie, Megan's younger sister. Maggie expresses her desire to join the graduation party later that night. Despite her insistence, Jessica dismisses her, declining her request to be a part of the celebration. Before long, Mickey, Claire's boyfriend, and Kyle, Jessica's boyfriend, join the group. Chugs announces her plan to see her doctor, hinting at the possibility of acquiring some illicit drugs from him. Before she can leave, however, the girls receive a chilling text message. It contains a photo of the tire iron used to kill Megan. The girls choose to dismiss it, assuming it to be a tasteless joke. When Chugs arrived at her doctor's office, she finds it unusually empty. Venturing further in, she discovers her doctor handcuffed to a bed. He proposes a deal. He will give her the desired drugs if she provides him a sexual companionship. With some hesitation, Chugs agrees and goes to the bathroom to get ready. While Chugs is away, the doctor senses the presence of an intruder in the hallway. Uncuffing himself to investigate, He's suddenly and fatally struck in the head with a tire iron, oddly similar to the one used in Megan's murder, thrown by a hooded figure. Unaware of the terrifying event, Chugs exits the bathroom expecting to find her doctor. Thinking he might have left for an emergency, she lies down on the couch with a drink. As she begins to drink, the hooded stranger appears and forces the entire bottle down her throat, ending her life. Back at the sorority house, Claire and Jessica discuss the weird text they've received and its implications. After they depart, Joanna, a sorority girl who overheard their conversation, falls victim to the same mysterious killer, dying to the deadly tire iron. Ellie, meanwhile, descends into the basement to retrieve more drinks. As her flashlight flickers and dies, she switches on a light, revealing half of Cassidy's bloody jacket, the one they wrapped Megan's body in. Terrified, she rushes back upstairs to inform the others. Ellie spirals into panic, speculating that Megan might have returned from the dead to seek her revenge. To calm Ellie's mounting fear, Cassidy discloses the group text they all receive, showing a photo of the deadly tire iron. This leads them to believe that Garrett might be pulling an elaborate prank on them. Claire, however, anxiously tries to reach out to Chugs, inquiring about Garrett's whereabouts, unaware that Chugs is no longer alive. Amid the swirling music and flashing lights on the dance floor, Claire gets into a heated argument with Mickey. He fails to recognize her discomfort and insists on dancing with her. Frustrated by his lack of understanding, Claire throws his ring back at him and storms off. Seeing his opportunity, Mickey approaches two other women. Noticing Ellie watching from the sidelines, he fears she might tell Claire and decides to smooth things over with her. While searching for Ellie, Mickey crosses paths with the hooded killer. A brief struggle ensues, ending with Mickey dying to the fatal tire iron. Ellie, who's hiding nearby, witnesses the horrifying event. Terrified, she runs back into the heart of the party, screaming, her voice drawing the attention of her sorority sisters. After hearing Ellie's horrific account, Jessica and Cassidy decide to investigate. They discover Mickey's lifeless body along with the murder weapon. Simultaneously, their phones ring with a new message, a text from Megan's phone. It contains a video recording of Mickey's murder and a cryptic message instructing them to meet at the location where Megan was killed. In an unusual and unsettling decision, they accept the dangerous invitation and make their way to the mine shaft. They find Garrett there, clutching the other half of Cassidy's jacket and holding a shard of mirror as a makeshift weapon. Before he can attack, Jessica takes matters into her own hands and runs Garrett down. They examine his body and discover self-inflicted wounds on his wrists. Checking his phone, they realize he isn't the one sending the creepy messages. He was receiving them just like they were. Driven by a desperate need for answers, the girls decide to lower Cassidy down into the mine shaft where they discarded Megan's body. Instead of Megan's body, Cassidy finds a chilling message written in blood on the shaft wall: Theta Pi must die. Returning to the sorority house, they find it deserted. Everyone's left for an after party. Hearing a noise from the backyard, they learn it's the jacuzzi malfunctioning. Claire decides to handle it despite the others' advice not to venture off alone. As Claire leaves, the remaining girls receive a disturbing text from the murderer using Chugs' phone. The messages cruelly informs them Chugs won't be attending the party, as she is dead. Suddenly, the tension is broken by Claire's terrified screams from outside. The plug of the hot tub is tied around her neck, dragging her back. Cassidy, reacting instantly, rushes to help Claire. She sees a flare gun go off, only to discover with shock and horror that it's been fired into Claire's mouth. Meanwhile, Jessica goes looking for Kyle and, to her shock, finds Maggie partially undressed on her bed, about to sleep with him. Maggie knows Jessica slept with Megan's boyfriend, so in a twisted act of revenge, she aims to hurt Jessica the same way. A struggle breaks out between them, but Cassidy steps in and breaks it up. Once they are told about the present danger, Jessica takes an emergency axe and braces herself for the killer's arrival. However, their sorority house mother, Mrs. Crenshaw, shows up, dodging Jessica's clumsy axe swing and striking her across the face with a firearm. Mrs. Crenshaw mentions she's aware of the girl's wrongdoings, prompting Jessica to confess to Megan's murder in panic, but Mrs. Crenshaw is confused and clarifies she was talking about the ruined house, not the killing. This revelation leaves Maggie feeling betrayed and emotional, learning that her sister's own friends were her killers. Cassidy, however, tries to reassure Maggie, saying there's not entirely certain whether Megan is truly dead or not. Mrs. Crenshaw decides she'll confront the intruder, instructing the girls to stay in the room and contact the authorities. Unfortunately, none of them have their phones with them. Driven by hope that her sister might still be alive, Maggie rushes out when she hears gunshots, hoping she might find Megan. In a tense standoff, Mrs. Crenshaw attempts to shoot the hooded intruder, but repeatedly misses. As her ammunition runs out, the killer appears right in front of her. A tire iron flies towards her, missing her body, but embedding itself in the wall behind her. While Mrs. Crenshaw frantically tries to reload her gun, the killer lunges forward, shoving a table into her and causing her brutal death. Amidst the chaos, Cassidy and Jessica decide to go downstairs to retrieve Mickey's phone. Concurrently, Maggie encounters the hooded killer, believing the intruder to be Megan. She steps forward but is met with a bottle of fire thrown in her direction, causing the house to catch flame. In the basement, Jessica and Cassidy unexpectedly find Kyle when Jessica learns that Kyle slept with Maggie. She lunges at him in a fit of rage. However, Kyle is stronger and manages to fend her off. In the chaos, Cassidy manages to get a hold of Mickey's phone, but is soon overpowered by Kyle. Jessica jumps in to assist Cassidy by striking Kyle with the flat end of her axe, but Kyle effortlessly wrests the axe from her grasp. Just in the nick of time, Cassidy intervenes, smacking Kyle in the face with a fire extinguisher. Seeking refuge from Kyle, the girls retreat to the bathroom. To their horror, they discover Megan's decomposing body hanging in the shower. As Jessica tries to listen through the door for any sign of Kyle, he strikes the door with his axe, the impact knocking her unconscious. Kyle forces his way into the bathroom while Cassidy attempts to escape, but he catches up to her. In a twist of fate, Andy shows up, embedding his axe in Kyle's head and rescuing Cassidy. When Jessica regains consciousness and steps outside, she sees Andy with the infamous tire iron. Cassidy notices this as well, the realization dawning on them that Andy has been the hooded intruder and killer. Jessica tries to negotiate with him, promising to keep his secret, but Andy silences her by driving the tire iron into her mouth. As it turns out, Ellie had informed Andy about the secret of the sorority sisters and how they blackmailed Cassidy, his girlfriend. Andy confesses that he killed everyone who knew about Megan's murder, tying up all loose ends to protect Cassidy to ensure she won't be at risk of ending up in jail. In a desperate attempt to reason with Andy, Cassidy fakes an agreement with his plan. She urges him to abandon his murderous path, proposing they escape instead. However, Andy's determined to eliminate anyone who knows about Megan's murder. Cassidy, unwilling to harm Ellie, convinces Andy that it's time to leave due to the fire engulfing the house. Andy agrees to deal with the others and meet Cassidy outside, but she tricks him and goes to save Ellie instead. Unfortunately, they're abruptly intercepted by Andy, who now realizes Cassidy's betrayal. He's infuriated by her decision to choose her friends over his protection. Cassidy instructs Ellie to flee while she strikes Andy's head with a lamp, using the opportunity to escape when he falls elsewhere. In the burning house, Maggie's trapped and crying out for help. Cassidy attempts to rescue her, but Andy reappears, determined to end Maggie's life. He ties the deadly tire iron to a rope and throws it towards Maggie. Cassidy battles against Andy, throwing a chair at him. However, Andy retaliates, striking the wooden floor beneath Cassidy and causing her to fall through. As Cassidy pleads for help, Andy shows no mercy, angered by her choosing her sorority sisters over him. In the nick of time, Ellie reappears with Mrs. Crenshaw's gun, shooting Andy and causing him to stumble onto the crumbling floor, falling into the flames below. With Ellie's guidance, Maggie manages to cross the flame obstacles. After Cassidy's helped up from the floor, the three girls escape the burning sorority house, surviving the night of terror. The movie comes to an end with a scene unfolding 15 months later. We see a man who appears to be Garrett standing in front of Theta Pi sorority house. As he stands there, one can't help but sense that he's ready to turn the tables on the sisters. He wants revenge, payback for the devastating consequences of their cruel prank. It seems like the once harmless boyfriend is now a man with a mission, prepared to bring about justice, or at least his own version of it, against those who turned his life into a nightmare. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.